For the first part, I'm going to be making a 2D sprite platformer. It's going to be for the C# coding still. I have gotten a bunch of assets from Kenny Sprites. Oh, this is going to be the GitHub platform. It's a public um, GitHub, so I'll be able to use this for my source control. For the Platformer Art Deluxe is the sprites pack that I got from Kenny.nl. And for the planning page, what I have is I'm gonna be making a 2D platformer. The player's gonna be able to control a character, so one of the aliens on the sprites that Kenny made. You're gonna be moving through the level, collecting items. So I have like coins that we can get to. You're gonna avoid obstacles, so like falling in holes. You're gonna avoid enemies, or you can throw items at the enemies to kill them and to reach the end of the level. So it'll be like a little door at the very end that we'll be trying to get to. I'm gonna have on my player collider 2Ds, a rigid body 2D, the pawn movement script. He's gonna have like a heads up display, so it'll be able to show his health, score, or lives. And then he's gonna have all of the normal scripts that I've been trying to make. Enemy is going to have a lot of the same, but they're going to be using an AI controller, pawn movement. They're going to be walking back and forth on platforms. And then I'll set like some triggers on either side of the platforms to make them turn. So they'll flip the image and walk the other direction. There's going to be a camera that follows the player. I'll have to make a script for the following the player, or like an empty game object inside the sprite. Player movement's going to use WASD for keyboard movement, and then up, down, left, and right on joysticks. Spacebar to shoot or throw the item, and then like an action button on the joystick for him to throw the weapons. For how I'm handling health, damage, and respawn, if the player loses an inspected amount of health, like we can adjust it in the inspector. I mean. If the player loses a certain amount of health when they come in contact with the enemy, the player loses a life after falling down from platforms that take a few seconds, or if they receive like a little bit of damage when they hit the player so much that they lose a life, they'll respawn at the checkpoint. And then all lives lost will be our what calls the game over screen. Collectibles, we'll be trying to gain as many points as we can, collecting coins. It'll be able to be added to the heads-up display, the user interface, and you'll be able to maintain those coins on your respawn, so you don't just lose your coins if you still have some lives left. The win-loss conditions, if the player reaches the last door on the map, then they'll be able to continue playing, or they'll be able to hit the victory screen, sorry, and they'll lose if they lose all their lives. Menu. We'll have a title menu with the press any key to continue. The main menu with the quit audio settings, credits button, and play button. The credits will just have the assets that I got from Kenny Sprite. Any sounds that he has made, I already put it into the scene. I'll show you in a second. Gameplay is gonna have the user interface, the heads-up display, and then the game over screen with the play button, play again button, a main menu, and a quit button. Like same with the victory screen. They'll all have backgrounds and sounds on those menus. And then the goal is to make a complete 2D platformer so we can replay the game. We have respawns, enemies respawn, like the complete reset of the game. The menus, the sounds, buttons, and sliders to be able to get in and out of in and out of the menus. We'll have a player that can walk, jump, throw objects, die, collect items, and avoid and destroy enemy sprites. Have the enemies walk on platforms to injure the player, and have a camera following the player. You'll be using the Singleton Game Manager to track points, lives, and UI and game states, and use the pawn controller pattern for the enemies and the player. The stuff that I need to do to make the game. So I have the player characters and some enemy sprites. I need to make some of the animations, so I'll be making the throw weapons animation. I'll be making idle, walk, jump, climb, duck, and throw animations for the player. Um, the floor tiles and background sprites we already imported. They have some kind of fonts for the UI in the deluxe art pack. Get the health bar images on the UI for the character and the scores. Get some collectible sprites, and then he has some audio and SFX. So for animations, that's probably going to take me a little while just to get all the characters all grouped together. So he has a couple different characters. I'll probably be using, I don't know, I like this big four-headed, three-eyed guy. So I'll probably be using this one, making sure he has the walk. So he already has the climb. They're not full animations yet. They're just the sprite. So I have to be grouping them, combining them using the animator, and get those working. Do the same thing for the enemies. The enemies have like being hit or walking, so combine those to make sure that the enemies have a nice walking animation. Set up the HUD after that. So doing the animations, that's probably going to take me probably the rest of today. And then tomorrow I'll start working on the menus, getting all them to look kind of nice. Once I get all the menus and stuff set up, probably about after lunch, I'll start working on doing the pseudo code, making sure everything is looking good there, so I have a good plan. And then hopefully after I get done with the pseudo code, the fake code, I can start working on actual programming to get the health, damage, death, and all that stuff working. It'll probably take me, I'm guessing, what is today? Wednesday, probably by Friday to get all the code and everything situated, making sure it's working right. I have a lot of the similar ones that I'm going to be using from the previous assignments and just kind of reworking for naming conventions on this one. I am going to be using a checkpoint, so I'm going to be looking up on Unity how to do on Unity docs to see how I'm going to do the checkpoints. They have some of those items, and then they have a torch that I'm probably going to use for the checkpoint sprite. It's like a little torch is on or torch is off. Yeah, right here. I'm going to be using these two for a checkpoint icon. And then my goal to get the actual start working on adding sprites on Saturday. So I'll start making the level, see if I can have all that completed, and then making sure everything works and being able to turn it in by Sunday. So I'll be able to keep everybody updated, keep making the videos. Thank you very much.